make history on the PBA Tour today. For the first time ever, a Major League Baseball stadium plays host to a bowling event. It's the Miller High Life Masters presented by the American Bowling Congress from Miller Park in Milwaukee, normally home to the Milwaukee Brewers. Today it belongs to four of the world's best bowlers competing for $100,000, and they are ready to roll.
Titles and finished 5th in last season's PBA World Ranking. The lone left-hander on today's show, from Tarrytown, New York, the number 4 seed, Patrick Allen. From Agawam, Massachusetts, he has 3 career Masters top 10 finishes, including the Masters title in 1999. The number 3 seed, Brian Bogosian. From Flower Mound, Texas, his 3 career titles include 1 major, last season's Dexter Tournament of Champions, the number 2 seed, Patrick Healy Jr. The number 1 seed, he has 10 career titles, and today he's to win his first major. From Baltimore, Maryland, Danny Wiseman.
Hello and welcome everyone to what truly is an opening day for the PBA here on ESPN. A brand new season starts today. Dave Ryan alongside my partner again, Randy Peterson. We're here at Miller Park in Milwaukee, home of the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, Randy, the Brewers had some problems this year. Didn't make the playoffs in the NL Central. In fact, they were in last place. But our 4 bowlers were the very top of the PBA world, bidding for $100,000, the coveted 2-year exemption. And what a chance to be part of history, too. A unique setting here.
This truly is the biggest event and the biggest setting our sport has ever seen. And out of the 577 players that started this event earlier in the week, well, they all wish they could be here today. But only the best, the top 4, the best 4 out of the 577 made it to today's stepladder finals. In match number 1, 4th seed Patrick Allen, our lone lefty, takes on the 3rd seed and 1999 Masters champion Brian Bogosian. The winner of that match will take on Patrick Healy Jr., looking to win his 2nd major championship in the last 10 months. The winner of that match will face our tournament leader, Danny Wiseman, looking to win his 1st major championship ever. And Dave Ryan, quite frankly, in the match play portion of this tournament, which was double elimination, 3-game matches, Danny Wiseman was unstoppable. In fact, in his last match, the last game, he shot .289 to lock up the number 1 seed today.
Big question whether or not Danny Wiseman can stay hot here at the ABC Masters. Only 1 bowler of our 4 has an ABC Masters title. That's Brian Bogosian, who's joined now by the 3rd member of our crew. Laneside, here's Beth Mullins.
Thank you very much, Dave. Well, Brian Bogosian, you did in fact win this title 5 years ago, and a little luck always helps. What superstition has helped carry you on this Halloween weekend?
Well, this week we have a little bit of a superstition with the left field foul pole. My good friend Chris Rebstock, he touched the pole on Tuesday, and he was the high qualifier of the day. And I thought to myself, I'm going to touch the pole too. It worked for him. Sure enough, came back the next day and bowled great, and been bowling good ever since.
Well, best of luck to you, Brian. Looking to become the first amateur to win 2 major titles. Dave?
That would be exciting. Instant karma? Well, it is for Brian Bogosian, that's for sure. The Red Sox defeated those hated Yankees down 3-0. They won 8 straight games to take the World Series title. Patriots over the Jets. That was just a recent victory for the Pats to keep that long win streak going. Now Patrick Allen, who's from very close to New York City, Tarrytown, about 30 miles away from the Big Apple, trying to reverse the trend of New Yorkers taking it over New Englanders. Brian Bogosian coming to us from the Berkshires, Western Massachusetts. Great start, Patrick Allen, opening our 2004-2005 PBA season in style, 10 down in the pit.
And a great shot with all things being considered. The venue, this baseball stadium, I mean, we've never been in this type of venue before or environment.
Patrick Allen gets up and just shreds the rack.
One amateur in our event. And Bogosian comes in high and leaves a split. Tough start for him. Has won a Masters title, as Beth talked about with Brian.
Not a great start, but better to do it in the first frame than the last. Cuts right through the heart of the pins, and Brian leaves the 4-6-7.
Gotta kick it across the deck. Take out that lone standing pin. 2 of the 3 stands. That's what's left. Baby Ruth, real deal matchup, our first of the season. PA against Brian Bogosian.
And really all you have to look at is right here, the average. Brian Bogosian averaging 12 pins a game higher than Patrick Allen. And Patrick Allen said himself last night to us, Dave, he was lucky to be here. He barely got through matches.
These two have never matched up on TV before. Bogosian, in fact, has not faced any of the other 3 on television. 10 pin.
Week 10 to be exact. Brian Bogosian, a down and in style player. And I think that's why Brian's had a lot of success in Masters tournaments. Remember, he's the 1999 Masters champion. He likes to go real straight and real direct, and that's always favorable when you're bowling on a tough lane condition.
Great numbers. Single pin conversion and takes care of the 10 there. Brian just turned 40 years old, October 26th, the same day as beloved Red Sox won Game 3 of the World Series against the Cardinals. Early numbers, though, the Red Sox backer is down by 11 pins.
And talking about baseball, Patrick Allen is a huge baseball aficionado. He was rolling off rosters left and right last night to you and I, Dave.
They're actually on now. I don't think they were even on before.
A walking encyclopedia of baseball knowledge.
Able to bring out the 1991 New York Mets starting lineup when we asked him something random. Last night in our meeting with him, bidding for his first ever major title, has won 2 of the standard championships. We saw the lone lefty in the pocket perfectly. A flush strike.
Patrick Allen last night told us that physically he's not sharp. He was just getting by.
1 second, huh?
He was going to work on a couple things, and the key today for him was to keep his right side quiet.
Gotta go.
That shot there was perfect. Off to a great start. Early double.
Patrick telling us at times the arm swing has not been as sound as he'd like it to be. Looks pretty sharp here.
Yeah, it sure does. And with him being the only left-hander playing that side of the lane, if he breaks down a little spot for him, he could be really tough to beat today. Notice the great balance. He knows it's a great shot as soon as it leaves his hand, and he reacts accordingly. Now Brian Bogosian needs to get on his horse and start striking.
Very quickly. That's the right path. Back in 1999, Syracuse, New York, the On Center in downtown Syracuse, he won his ABC Masters title over Parker Bone III in the final, and he has plenty of TV experience. So with so much on the line, $100,000, you see the points, PBA Tour points. Keep in mind that Brian is not part of the PBA. He's an amateur and competes in several non-PBA related events like this one, the ABC Masters. And if he wins it, he does not get the 2-year exemption. He's not on a tour. Way high.
Come on, dude.
Brian Bogosian, to me, does not look comfortable, and I think it shows in the first 4 frames, this ball going high, leaving the 3-6-10. Really the only good shot he's thrown was the 3rd frame. And the 3-6-10 is not the kind of spare you want to shoot at in this environment.
Multi-pin conversion numbers you saw bottom of your screen. 10 pin stands for Brian Bogosian at open, and that is deadly. Had a chance to talk with Brian during warm-ups. He really didn't seem comfortable in this setting today, Randy.
Yeah, and he doesn't look, Brian Bogosian's a really good bowler, and he doesn't make these kinds of mistakes. But it's amazing what pressure does to the mind. You start thinking about things that you shouldn't be thinking about, and it makes the body react in different ways.
Four in a row. What a start for Patrick Allen, who had a very good first half of last season. The victory in Philadelphia.
Trying to keep his hand slightly up the back to keep the ball on line. He said he never played anywhere other than in between the second and third arrow on his side of the lane all week long.
It says, Randy, after that win in Philly, despite the fact he was 6th on the tour in strike percentage, 2nd in average behind Player of the Year Mika Koivuniemi, really a tough second half for him. So a lot of desire as he leaves the 7 there for a good start to this brand new tour season.
And a tough second half of the year because he said he fell into a rut of him not feeling like he could win matches. He would make it to match play, and then he just wouldn't win. He wouldn't win. He would lead the qualifying, get knocked out in the first round. Patrick Allen very good at single pin spare conversion as he tries to convert the week 7 he left.
Takes care of that. Last year, very effective season for him, though. Made a career high 4 TV shows. Was 3-3 on those shows. New feature of our 4 major broadcasts this year, the slow motion, Randy.
Yeah, and you can see that ball starts at the third arrow on the left side, and it goes over the brown board about 40 feet down the lane, which is the 10th board on his side. So again, keeping that same thing going, keeping it in between second and third arrow.
A little bit high in the pocket for Bogosian, but he'll gladly take a strike there. He is one of 6 amateurs who have won the ABC Masters, along with Rick Steelsmith, Ken Johnson, Steve Fair, Jason Queen, and Brett Wolf, who did that a couple years back in Reno at the National Bowling Stadium. Asked him yesterday about having won a Masters already. Was it a big advantage? He felt like it could be. But look at the setting here. A huge crowd. A baseball stadium. It's tough. High again.
Yeah, and right now, to use a little Boston Red Sox rhetoric, he needs to go wicked hard because his ball speed looks too soft, and every time he lets go of it, it's cutting right through the heart. But I think the thing that is real important to note is that Brian Bogosian, when he won, he stayed in the same venue for the television show. This week, we bowled the qualifying at another center, took the venue to Miller Park, 2 completely different arenas.
We will have the conclusion of the Allen Bogosian match, the first here at our season opener from the Miller High Life Masters. We're at Miller Park, home of the Milwaukee Brewers. History being made on the PBA Tour. It is opening day. The lefty, PA, looks good early on.
The NBA on ESPN returns.
The Miller High Life Masters on ESPN is brought to you by Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. By Dexter, the #1 bowling shoe in the world. What's your size? And by the American Bowling Congress, providing championship membership services for more than 100 years. Happy Halloween to all. Some very creative costumes out there. And, of course, the Packerbackers, their beloved team, is playing as we speak. Randy, the oil pattern today, different than the normal PBA patterns we see in a standard event.
It sure was. It's 39 feet of slick goo, which forced the players to play the outside part of the lane because the middle part of the lane hooked. The righties are going to stay around right here. Patrick Allen, 14th board, it's about second arrow. But what's going to happen is the right-handers are going to break down the front part of the lane, where Patrick Allen is going to have a nice, smooth press surface. On that side, advantage, Patrick Allen.
We had 577 bowlers here competing in 7,230 total games. And guess what? 2 perfect games, one from Jason Couch in the second round and one from Brian Bogosian. Now, that 300 club is not the same as 300 Bowling Club, but hey, we're at Miller Park here in Milwaukee, home of the Brewers, and it's an honor to hit 300 and to have a 300 game in either sport. PA is on, Randy, no doubt about it.
Well, he's grooved himself a nice little spot there during warm-ups. And obviously, on this type of pattern, execution is a must. You have to execute shots. You have to make good shots. But if you can build up just a little bit of room, and I'm talking an inch, professionals will take advantage of that. That's what Patrick Allen's doing now. The swing's nice and free, and obviously very, very comfortable with his ball reaction.
5 out of 6 strikes, goes for 6 or 7. That's high.
You can see that ball was right of target off his hand. It was inside the third arrow. There is no way that ball is going to hold its line. Goes through the nose, leaves the 2-4-7. Same spare that Brian Bogosian missed for a right-hander back in the 4th frame.
Saw the multi-pin numbers, over 95%. And lefties, the oil breaks down here. Picks up his mark. We talked to PA just before the show today, Randy, about how the lanes were responding. He said, I'm very comfortable. I like the path I'm creating in the oil as the lone left-hander. It's always interesting when you have the southpaw out there to see how the oil develops as the match progresses.
Right-handed dominance last year against left-handers, but that was because most of the shows had more than one left-hander. You get more than one left-hander on their side of the lane, they move the oil around, their shot becomes inconsistent, just like the right side of the lane. If you can get one left-hander on that side, building his own trough, is going to be very tough to beat. We saw it when Mika Koivuniemi won the Cambridge Credit Classic last year, shooting 300. He was the only right-hander, and he mauled the field.
Brian Bogosian picks up his mark. Now, things are a little bit different from last year with our field of 64, trying to get to that point. We're up to 40. Remaining exemptions coming from a point list and multi-year exemptions. 4 major champions from last year are exempt for this year and beyond. And we'll have 7 regional points leaders in next year's exempt field from the 7 regions. So it'll have a new look to it for that exempt field of 64. Big strike, Bogosian. Brian will not be part of that exempt field because he is not a PBA Tour card-carrying member.
And quite honestly, Dave, the only thing the players are looking at right now are 2 things: winning and making the top 40, period.
Another chance for someone to gain exempt status for next season. That's next week. Vernon Hills, Illinois, just outside Chicago. Last year was Brian Himmler defeating Mika Koivuniemi 230-215 in the title match. Who will it be this year? Find out Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 on the West Coast. The ESPN coverage of the PBA Tour continues. Event number 2. We have a new schedule this year as well, where we finish up with 2 exciting majors. World Championship, TOC in April. Patrick Allen, flush in the pocket again.
Steady Eddie Patrick Allen, we watched him last night have huge leads, only to watch those leads vanish in the 9th and 10th frames of his matches. However, he was good enough to hold on and good enough to make key shots in the 10th frame to win matches.
We are in front of this huge crowd playing a stepladder format, folks. Started with 4 bowlers. Only 1 will stand. Automatic 2-year exemption. $100,000 first place prize. Patrick Allen hopes it's in. With shots like that, he may just get there. It looks like he's got this one sewn up. Who's going to bowl next in the bullpen at Miller Park, home of the Brewers? Yes, it's Patrick Healy Jr., who won a major last year. In fact, the TOC over my partner. You bowled so well that week, buddy, in Connecticut. But Patrick won his first ever major at the Tournament of Champions in Uncasville.
Brian Bogosian's a great bowler, otherwise he wouldn't be here, but today he just didn't have it and ran into a buzzsaw by the name of PA.
Patrick has wrapped this one up, folks. He will advance on to compete with Patrick Healy Jr. He's 0-1 against Healy Jr. in the 2002 Earl Anthony Classic out of the Great Northwest. The only time they have met on TV. It happens again today here, coming up from Milwaukee, but a much bigger setting. This is a major championship, so much money, and a unique, historic perspective. More than 5,000 fans expected. There's a chance we could set an all-time PBA Tour attendance record. Over 7,000. As Bogosian finishes up, that was set back in the mid-90s at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit.
Pick it up, bro.
7,200 and change. Also at a major. Great experience for Brian Bogosian. Tries to win his second ever Masters, but gets this far. And all the folks watching back home, New England Bowlers Association, he wanted to say hello to, have got to be pleased with this showing.
Yeah, and I've actually been to one of their events. It's a phenomenal tournament and tournaments that they put on throughout the year.
Brian works for one of our title sponsors, Cambridge Credit Counseling in Western Massachusetts. When he was 21 years old, was thinking about joining the PBA Tour as PA finishes up. 7-pin there. But Brian said financially wasn't sure if I could afford going out on tour, wasn't confident enough in his game at that point. Now later in life, he's 40. He likes the balance of bowling in some amateur events, ABC tournaments, and still having a standard professional life.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to say Brian Bogosian, an amateur, in the same breath, because he does awfully well and makes pretty good money bowling these mini tournaments, the Masters, going out to Vegas for some of the tournaments out there. And this could have ended a career. Just ask Kurt Schilling, but PA was able to stay on balance, and of course he will be called safe.
Sliding, not something you want to do a lot of in the sport of bowling, I wouldn't think. For the Milwaukee Brewers, that's normal here at Miller Park, but not for Patrick Allen, who in style blasts Brian Bogosian in the first match stepladder format of our ABC Masters Championship. 238-153. We'll learn much more about Patrick coming up in the Miller six-pack with Randy Peterson. But right now, they're going to the bullpen. Patrick Healy Jr. rides in for the bullpen next.